Hello, my name is Lisa, and I'm an internal support coordinator with WEX FSM, and I want to welcome you all to today's session of Solution Studio. Today, we'll be going over managing your payments in WEX FSM. And let's face it, it's all about getting paid. So let's go over how to make sure that your users are set up, everything in your settings is set up so that you can go ahead and take advantage of everything that we have to offer in the system. So on each user, I'm going to click on Marie because I always pick on her because she's on the top. You can go in and go down to permissions, and then there are settings to keep them from manually entering cards if you don't want them to, or managing recurring payments, being able to perform credits and voids, and to be able to do financing. So if any of your users need to be restricted from this, you can come in and set their user to no for anything that you might not want them to be able to do. Just remember that if for some reason the credit card won't swipe and you don't allow them to manually enter cards, then they're going to have that customer call the office, and the office person will have to take that payment. So make sure that you take that into consideration when you're setting those up. If you do recurring payments, this would be especially helpful on maintenance plans, because then you can set up the monthly payments instead of the full amount due, and take advantage of the auto invoicing as well, so that they can approach their customers with maybe a $15 a month payment instead of $150, $175 up front. So make sure that their user is set correctly for what they um, are allowed to do. Then the other thing is in settings, and then jobs, and then payment terms. So when you start with WEX FSM, you need to set up your payment terms. And if you haven't taken a look at these in a while, you may want to go back and take a look at them. So if you offer due upon receipt for everybody, then that should be your default. If you offer 15 days for them to be able to pay, or net 30, that should be your default. And you can just click on those and change it to default for whatever is the most, I don't even say usable, the most frequent one that you guys do. So you may be due upon receipt for all of your customers that are residential, maybe net 15 or net 30 for commercial. So choose the one that you would use the most. And one of the things that you can actually do is on each user, there is a preferences section. So let me go to Jack Dawson, and on below the locations, it's settings and preferences. So you have the ability to set the settings globally up here in the payment terms, and you can override that on each individual customer by going in and setting the preferences. So you can change the payment terms for any commercial one to be net 30. And each time an invoice is created for that customer, it will default to net 30. You can always change it on the fly if you need to, but it will default to net 30. And let's say you don't want to pay a credit card fee for a larger install. You can come in here and you can change this. If you take checks, you can have them only pay by check, or you can allow them pay any way that they want on an invoice when you send it to them, or just do debit and credit. So if you are not signed up for checks, it's going to be only debit and credit here. If you sign up for ACH e-checks, then that will be available here. And so each time that you change this, this will only allow them to pay by the way that you allow them to pay for this customer. Globally, they'll be able to pay for other customers, will be able to pay either way, but on each customer, you can set up this preference as well. Okay. If you haven't signed up for checks, I'll show you where to go get that. Most people sign up for credit cards. You would go to settings, subscriptions, payment options, and go ahead and get set up for check acceptance by clicking the plus. It'll be a plus here. And you can see the pricing ahead of time on what it is for to be able to process checks with us. When you process checks with us, we have, let me go over and find the activity screen. You'll see on payment options activity, transactions, you're going to see an activity screen. And this will be your card batches. And if you're signed up for checks, check batches. And it will tell you for the day how many that you processed. And that's what will sync to QuickBooks. And if you use Synchrony or any of other financing partners where they integrate through there, you'll have a drop down for those as well in here, and you can see those. So basically, let me go back just a little bit. This is our test account, so let's go back a little bit. They haven't been running any payments through here because it's not live. Nope, nothing coming in through there. So I may show you on the other account. So let's go into this one. This one should be live. And if I go to activity transactions, and go back in time just a little bit, see if anybody's run anything through here. Okay, so it will show a batch for what was run for the day. This is a $500 batch, but it's only one payment. If this was multiple payments, they would all show under here with a batch total. Okay, if you need to see any information on here or print a receipt or email a receipt, you can email these to your customer. If for some reason it's been assigned to the wrong customer, you can change it to a different customer on the payment list and get it to the correct customer. And I'll show you that just a minute. You have a check batch. They haven't run any checks in this system in a long time, it looks like. It will show in here checks take 2 days. They stay in the pending status for 2 days. And then what happens with check payments is it takes actually a full week for the check to go through our system and our check processor to get to the actual bank. So what they do is they pre-fund you, and depending on how you were set up when you signed up, it's usually 2 days that they kind of front you the money for the check processing. And then the check will continue on its way to the customer's bank. It will get deposited. If they block the check or if there are insufficient funds, then it'll work its way back. And you will see that on here as well. And they will end up taking the money that they fronted you back. So just keep that in mind that it's going to stay in pending, and it takes that full 7 days to get to the customer's bank. Now, let's say you had signed up for check processing and they're going to ask you what is a normal amount of a check for you to process, because they have a risk review department just like credit card processing, and they will approve your account for payments that are within your normal, right? So if a $10,000 check is normal for you to process, then they'll go through just fine. You process a $40,000 check when your basic normal check that you've told them is $15,000, they're going to put a risk hold on it, and they may hold those funds for the full 7 days until it actually makes it to the customer's account and is taken out of there successfully. They may not front that money to you until it gets to the customer. And they may also reach out to you and say, hey, we're going to do a risk review. We want 3 months worth of bank statements to make sure that if we front you this large amount of money, that there's enough in your checking account to take back should the customer put a stop payment or anything on that check. So just remember that when you sign up, you would have gotten a notification of what your normal approved amount is. And just keep that in mind. So if you get that $40,000 check and you're approved for $15,000, you may want to take that directly to the bank, or you may want to reach out to customer support and have one of my operation team reach out to the check processor and do an evaluation to get you a higher level approved so that when you start taking those larger checks, they go through with no problem. Okay. So let me pop out of this one and put it down so I can go back to the other one. So now we have the activity screen is here, and then under here as well, is where you find your statements under payment options and statements. So you're going to get several statements in our system. You'll get a processing statement every month if you process cards with us, and they'll show up here. And you'll also get a WEX FSM statement. So this is for your subscription. And so when you have your subscription, you're going to be able to click on any of these, open them up, and you're going to see your subscription level. This is also where you will see any check processing. So if you process checks with us, those checks will show up here and the fee associated to them. So you won't get a separate statement from the check processor. It will be under your subscription statement. And you find that under payment options, activity, and statements. Okay, so one of the other things that we wanted to look at is, let's say you have a customer that owes you money and you do not want to do work for them until they pay you that money. So you can come into the customer and set the account on hold, and you can put a reason in here and you can update the status. And this will not allow anyone to schedule an appointment on this customer. They will have to come in and remove the hold before they can do that. So also on the customer, you have your payments tab. It's going to give you a customer balance, process payment, record payment, do a credit refund. The gold bar here means it has a payment that's not fully applied to an invoice, and it could be a partial payment that is applied and some unapplied, or a fully unapplied payment. To be able to do that, this may be a down payment. You would know in your system what it's there for, or an overpayment. So if this is a down payment, when you create the invoice, you can always come in and hit reassign payment, choose the correct invoice, make this amount the amount that is left over, if there is any. If not, make that 0. Put in your payment method, your check number, if it requires a check number if it is a check. But also in here, this is a recorded payment. Okay, so let's go over the difference between a recorded payment and a process payment. So a recorded payment in our system is anything that you take to the bank or that you process with another processor. It's something that actually physically does not process in our system and will not show up on that activity screen. Okay, so you may take them to the bank, you may be giving them a credit, something like that. It does not come through our system. But remember that all of these other options, MasterCard, Visa, are in here under recorded payment. And when you choose those, it will ask you for the last 4 of the card for identification purposes, but it will not process. So if you record a payment on an invoice and put MasterCard and put that information in here, it will show as paid in our system, but it won't process. And unless you have received that money through your other processor or taking it to the bank, you're not really getting paid on this. So make sure that your techs know the difference between record payment and process payment, because the drop down um, will show the same thing. So if you come in and you can go in and see the type of payments, you can select the month, that type of year, that type of thing. But if it's a MasterCard, it's going to show up MasterCard, and this will actually process. And one of the things that you'll note is when you process it, let me do one real quick. If I record a payment and I do a payment without an invoice and I put $250 in here and I put MasterCard, it's going to ask me for the last 4, the date received, today, and I'm going to hit record payment. It doesn't show the last 4 here. When you process a payment, it's going to say X and the last 4 here. So that's one of the other tells that you can see that it processed. And on the payment list, you're going to see recorded or processed. So you're going to go payment methods, payment type, processed, recorded, or credit. So you can sort by those as well. So if you ever see recorded Visa here under the type, and you always process through WEX FSM, you'll know that somebody did a recorded payment for that Visa and you really didn't get paid for it. If you do it outside of the system, recorded here, Visa may be something that you normally see, but if you know that you are only processing through us, you should never see recorded Visa, recorded MasterCard, anything like that. So if you're ever unsure, you can always come to the payment list and check. Let's go back here. The other thing you can see payment and credit by invoices, and anything in our system you click on, it will toggle. Date and time will bring up the most recent and the item, the invoice, that type of thing, the amount, and if anybody still has a balance, it'll bring it up. So you can toggle those as well. Okay. If anybody has a payment plan is what we normally use for our maintenance plan agreements. But if you have a customer who cannot fully pay an invoice, you as a company may decide to offer them a payment plan, and you can create them independently of a maintenance plan. But the only thing that is a difference is when you create a maintenance plan and you set up recurring payments, which is another word for a payment plan, and you do auto invoicing, every time that $15 a month payment runs, it's going to auto invoice for that payment, shake hands, and the customer balance will be zero because they are on track. They may owe you $150 for the whole plan, but their payment for this month has been made and they are on track, so they really owe you nothing right now. If you offer a customer a payment plan independent of a maintenance plan, they are going to show the full balance of the invoice due minus any payments. And when that payment runs, you're going to have to assign it. So on the payment list, you're going to see a recurring payment here, and it'll not have a check mark. And you're going to have to click the three dots, hit edit payment, and then reassign it to the correct invoice. And then make sure that if they paid $50 on this, because what happens is it tries to default to the full amount, okay? And if you put in the full amount and don't change it here, it's on a recorded payment, it's going to try to change it to the full amount. So make sure that as you add these, that you are keeping track of the balance as you go and adding that payment on so that it is only the partial payment. Now you set these up in payment options, and let me keep the payment list open. Let me go over here, go to payment options, payments, and go to recurring payment. And this is where you would create a new payment plan for that customer. So you could hit create new payment plan, put in the job number, the customer name, their email address, how much they are going to owe you on that invoice. So let's say it's $1,000. And you can put payment plan for new air handler. Okay, you can make it a recurring payment. You can choose monthly, quarterly, or annually. You can choose the first month. So if you want this month to be the first month, you would say June of 2026, and the last month divided up, and the day of the month that they want to make the payment on. So if they get Social Security or something like that, you may want to make this the 15th of the month because their check will come in on the 1st and it won't be there if you choose the 1st. It may just be pending. Okay. The other thing is when you set these up, recurring payments run right after midnight. Our regular credit card payments settle about 7 o'clock Eastern time on the day that they were run. So to keep there from being a whole lot of traffic when those settle, they set up recurring payments to run after midnight so that all those $15 payments that are in all of the systems across WEX FSM will run right after midnight. So if today is the 1st, you can't choose today for that payment to run because it will have already run and you won't get paid for your first month. Okay. you have the option to email a receipt to the customer so they can keep track of their payments on there. You can put in the payment method, a card, bank account for a check, and this will run whenever you choose it, monthly, quarterly, however you make the agreement with your customer to pay, and it will show up on the activity screen and it will show up on the payment list, but you will have to assign the payment to the invoice because the only auto assign for recurring payments is with maintenance plans in our system. Okay, let's see. We've gone over how to reassign a payment to an
So,
invoice. Yes.
sorry to go back.
Mhm.
You were mentioning in regards to a recorded, like a debit or credit card payment.
Yes.
And you said that, I believe you said that if they do it that way, it doesn't go to our bank. Is that correct?
Yes. Recorded payments do not go to your bank. They will
Okay.
match what you deposit to your bank. Okay, so if this recorded payment syncs to QuickBooks, it will show in the undeposited funds and you would match your deposit slip of what you took to the bank or the or the what you got from the other processor.
Okay. Um, when would be a reason why we would do a card in recorded payment?
So let's say you signed up for us, you signed up for payments, card processing, and all of a sudden your bank offered you a deal where they are not going to charge you any monthly fees. They are only going to charge you a very low percentage to process your credit cards because they have a promotion going. You may want to process your cards through that bank and not through us, but you would record in here that the customer paid with a MasterCard, even though it went through the other system.
Oh, okay.
Does that make more
Okay, because
sense?
I was breaking my head thinking, when would we do something like that? I just don't see it.
Yeah, and it gets confusing because we have some people who sign up that are never going to process through us. They always go through QuickBooks. They are just diehard QuickBooks people and they feel they're getting a better rate there. So all of their payments in WEX FSM would be recorded payments because they are not processing with us at all, but they have to satisfy the customer's invoices with a payment
Right. Okay.
so that the customer balance is okay.
Okay. That makes sense.
That makes
Yeah. So basically, only reasons why we would use record payment is for cash and checks,
yes. If
realistically.
Yes, if you're not processing checks with us, then cash and checks would be the recorded payments.
Okay.
Okay. So, did you have any other questions before I move forward?
Um, the reoccurring payments,
Dink.
um, I know we didn't get down to like the payment method.
Hmm.
I saw it down there.
Yes.
That one is only for like debit cards or credit cards, is what
Yes.
I'm seeing.
Yes. If you're set up for credit cards only, you're only going to see the option to do a credit card. If you're set up for check processing, you're going to see enter a bank account.
Okay, and that would be only if we're signed up with the checks through you.
Hmm. Yes. Anytime you're not
Okay.
signed up for that, they filter it out of the system, so it's not an option.
Okay. Otherwise, we would have to manage it manually with whomever.
Yes. So if you're not set up for checks and they're going to send you a check every month, you couldn't use the recurring payment for that check. You would just have to keep track of they owe you that. It's going to be coming in on the 15th when you get that check, then record a payment against their open invoice and then take that to the bank.
Got it.
Okay.
Perfect. That satisfies that portion of it.
Mhm. Okay. Let's
Thank
see.
you.
You're welcome. So let's see. So we've done that. Let's go back to Jack Dawson. And so that's where the payment plans would live there. If you store a credit card or if you do checks, they will be here as the bank account and a credit card. So if they allow you to store it, say just keep it on file, you can add the card here and it will live here. If you're doing the maintenance plan recurring payments, when you add that to the maintenance plan, um, they'll show up here in the recurring payments, and it will show in the existing plans. And this is one section that does not apply to all of the other rules about anything red you can click on. It's not really intuitive that this is gray, but you can click on it, but you can. And you click on the name, it will tell you the customer's name, their recurrence, the start and end date, what kind of visa they're paying with, or what kind of card they're paying with. If you need to change it, they call up and they say, I need to change my card on file. You can add an account and change it here. Um, any of that information, it will show you the payment schedule that's coming up. Okay. Or you can discontinue the plan. Now, once these are all set up to run $16.59 a month on these, so they're all set up. This one we have 10 recurring payments set up in this system. And it looks, most of them, these are the date that it's going to run. And remember, they'll run right after midnight. But this is the one, if you decide to use recurring payments, that you need to monitor. Overdue payments, there's 236 in here. And this is a test account. So when they put in the credit card, I'm sure they put in a fake credit card so that these automatically fail. But when you look at these, you'll say, okay, you come in and you'll say, bad card, bad check. You need to reach out to the customer for some reason to see if maybe their card is expired. If it will say the card has been marked for fraud, something like that that will be on here for a failure reason. So if they reach out and you monitor these daily because you want to get paid and they give you a new card, you can update the plan and then you can click the button and you can hit run tonight and it will run this payment after midnight tonight. Okay. If they give you a credit card and you take the payment out and run it right then, you can skip the payment. Okay. You can also send a payment request for them for this. Anything that you check here. So if you have a bunch of them you've taken care of, you can do multiple, or you can hit select all and send payment requests out to all of them. But just make sure that you monitor these, go through, because as you keep going and keep going every month or every quarter, whatever recurrence that you have it set up with, it's going to fail until you do. So it's much easier to reach out to a customer and say, hey, it looks like your credit card didn't go through last night for $17.43. Do you have a new card? Or would you like to have run the payment now? And if you wait a year, it's a harder conversation to have because there will be 12 months of 1743. And so make sure to monitor these if you decide to use that feature and get it taken care of. Then as you are done, these will go away as you take care of them, because you're going to select them and you're going to run tonight, you're going to skip, you're going to do something with them. As you can see, it looks like there's 24 pages of these. So definitely, I've had a gentleman that I reached out to and he asked him how he was doing. He says, I'm doing great. We're selling lots. We're selling lots. We got a lot of people signed up for maintenance plans. And I went in here and he had months worth of payments that people hadn't paid for him, that he'd gone out and done the maintenance plan service window. So he was working for free. So he needed to make sure that he had that conversation with his customers to get caught up on those, or ask them if they did not want to have the plan. So always keep track of these and make sure that you go over them and make sure that's very clean. There's certain things in the system you want to have clean, and this is one of them. Okay, and so from the payments list, you can
Two
also,
questions on
sure,
reoccurring payments.
okay.
One of them is uh, when you set up the payment plan, does it or like a reoccurring payments, does it automatically set up the monthly payment, or do you have to manually calculate?
It
Right.
automatically does. So if I hit create new payment plan and I come in here and I say $5,000. It, I know for on the maintenance plan, when you set it up, it automatically calculates because the date and the start date and the end date of the plan have to be like a 365-day window by year, or it changes the contract amount because it's going to divide that annual cost by the number of days that you have in the plan. So if we're going to do monthly and we do the first month of, let's do July 2026. I haven't been in here in a long time. And then go to August of 27. It doesn't show it in here. Let's see, enter or swipe a card. Come in here. I can't put in numbers. Oh, you have to store the card for the payment. La 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 la. Continue. Please specify a job. Okay, that's one of the requirements. I can show you that too. See if anything else is required in the settings.
Invalid.
No, it doesn't. As it says, the card you numbered is not valid, so it's not even going to let me get past that. Let me show you on, I think, this one. So maintenance plan, add a maintenance plan. Okay, so this gives it, even though it's 20 years, it's 1 day more here and 1 day less here to get that 365 a year. Okay, and then 199. Okay, the contract total is 30,980. Okay, with tax. So if I go back into service, there's my service windows, turn my reminder on, my payment, go to payment plan, it divides it for you. So it's 1779.
Gotcha.
Okay. And I can't get any further on that other window. So it was built in, we started with payments first. So it was built in what we call legacy, pays or legacy. So you may have to do the math because I can't get any further past it. But I thought it divided it by the number of months, but you have to double check that for me.
Do you know if it allows you to set a like your own amount that you want to do? And the reason I ask is right now I'm trying to collect on one that's been set up since like 2024, and the way they set it up in QuickBooks
Hmm.
was bad. They didn't use the reoccurring payment option. They
Hmm.
just basically wrote it out in the invoice and never followed up with the guy to pay monthly. But
Oh dear. Okay.
yeah, so I'm trying to collect on that, and it's been a pain.
So I don't think there's any way that you can come in here and say $250 a month. Just run $250 a month. You have to give a total and a start and an end date, and make sure that
Okay.
that monthly or that quarterly amount is divided correctly for to get back to that 5,000. Because if you end it short, right? It if you've told them $250 a month, it's going to change the amount. It's going to divide. It
Okay.
has to divide. It has to divide because if you're giving a date and a start, end, and an end date, it's got to divide to come up with a monthly payment.
It'll evenly
Hmm.
divide it. And then I assume like if it's an uneven number, then it most likely will leave the last
Payment.
day or
Hmm.
last payment at whatever the difference is.
Yes.
Okay. And I guess the second portion of that is um, if for any reason, and I think I know the answer, but if for any reason, let's say it's a 1 year payment, reoccurring payment plan that we set up, they decide they want to pay in the middle of the reoccurring payment, they want to do a cash payment.
Hmm.
I can skip the payment, as you were showing on there
Yes, you
for
can
that
either
month.
skip the payment, or if they want to do a cash buyout of the whole thing, you can find the plan and cancel it. So
Okay,
let's,
find the
yeah,
plan and discontinue it.
yes.
Um, if I want to process on that one payment as a cash payment, does it let me do that?
So what it would do is, if you would have to look at the, let's see, do we have close? So we've got existing and upcoming payments. You would come up and say, okay, let's say this is the next one that's going to run for him. You could click here and skip that payment and then take the cash payment for the 1 month.
Skip the payment and then how?
Go to the customer and record a cash payment.
Okay, and then just
The
I
next
guess
month,
I would
yeah, the next month it will be set up to run again.
will how will I know it? Well, how would I record it specifically to this payment plan or payment?
Okay, so this is one that's set up independently of a maintenance plan, right? That's the one you do.
No,
It's not.
I would let's say for like it's running from January to December, and this month I'm skipping the payment, but I'm taking a cash payment, and I
Okay.
want to make sure that it records that I took this month's payment in cash.
Okay, so what this payment, if you skip this payment, it will disappear out of the system, and then you would go into payments. You would record a payment, and you would find the invoice that you are putting it against, and come in here and put 1769, I think it was, and then go down and put cash, today's date, and then record the payment. And so you'll see on the payment on the invoice, you're going to see credit card process, credit card process, credit card process for the months it does, then one of a cash payment. And then the next month it will be credit card, credit card.
Okay, perfect. That's what I was thinking was going to happen. It is a little more cumbersome,
Hmm.
but okay,
But
that at least lets
it's
me know that
doable. Yeah.
it's doable. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
You just gotta you just gotta align it all correctly.
And do it the same way every time.
Yes.
Because if you forget, you're going to go,
Correct.
wait a minute, what did I just do? Okay, so
Yes.
also on the maintenance plan, when we looked at that, under, let's go, I have to choose a plan and I have to get to the payment. If you do payment plan and you want to auto generate invoices, that is what I talked about before. The payment will run after midnight, and it will also generate an auto invoice for the customer. So, I mean, so that for 1779, so their balance will be zero. Okay. And so when you go into the payment list, do I want to cancel? Yes. Do I want to save? No. When you go into the payment list, you have the option to see the auto recurring invoices only. Let's see if there's any in this system. La 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 la, way back. No, there aren't. Let's keep going back. Nope. Let's go into the other one and see if there are some in the other one. Because what it shows is they all start with an A. No, I don't want to do that. Didn't mean to touch that. I got too many things open. This one? This one. Okay. Move that back over here. And then go to, um, oh, it's in only a payment options. I don't think it will even show that, because it won't show it because you can't do invoices in the payment only. Darn it. So they will show up here with an A in front of it. So if I go into all invoices, where it has the invoice number. This is on the payment list. Oh, wait a minute. I'm in the wrong one. Invoice list. Too many tabs, so little time.
Mhm.
Auto recurring invoices. There we go. See how they all have an A? Every other invoice in
Yes.
the system doesn't, it says I-1036-8. And you're going to see the numbers because depending on how many months it goes out, that's how many invoices that you would end up with for that auto invoicing, how many ever monthly payments. Okay. So if you put it to auto, auto invoice and recurring payments until the plan is canceled, you could have 40 of those
Got
or
it.
more. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been seeing those letters and kind of making sense of it.
Hmm.
Yeah, the I invoice, P is proposal.
Yes.
Yeah.
So everything in our system is based on a job number. So everything in that job number has a prefix of what it is, P for proposal, I for invoice, PO, um, and then PC for proposal comparison, and then an extension of -1, -2, or how many ever you have of that on that job. So that's one of the easy ways to be able to say, okay, um, we know this is on job 1036. And usually on anything except for auto recurring invoices, if we go back to all invoices, we have the shortcuts to get to the job if you need to. The only time that you're going to see that these are different if they're imported, because we have to have a job to house imported invoices. So it's going to have a job number with a different invoice number for one that might have been created in your old system.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I saw that too.
Okay. Let's see, we've done the activity screen. Down payments, basically, if you're going to make a down payment, you would go to the payments, you would put it on here. You can also take payments on a job. So if you're at the bottom of the job, invoices and payments, you can go ahead and process or record a payment on the job as well. So you can take the down payment here if you want to. It'll show up on the customer's payments tab as a down payment as well, but it will show here any type of payments that are assigned to an invoice will show up on this job as well. So they're both places. Let me go back over here and I think did I get through everything under here? Oh, stored accounts. If you go to the receivable report, let me get over to here and go to the AR report, the receivables. Here we go. The receivables report. So if you choose to send a statement to a customer, and we don't have anything for that, let's go way back in time. Nope, Dawson. Okay, so you can choose a date range to give them a statement and hit select all. And you have the option to send them a statement from that date in time. So if you decide to send a statement to them and you hit send statement, it is going to leave a copy here. So you can, if they have a question about it, and you can say, okay, I sent you this statement on this date, and that invoice was not included in that statement because it happened after that. Okay. It is a point in time only. So you would be able to see it here. It's like our other job forms. There'll be a PDF here as well that you can take a look at. The other thing about payments that we need to go over is credits and refunds. So in our system, when you have an invoice and you are going to give them money off on it, a lot of people go in and just take a take a certain amount, change the amount due. And that's not really a credit and it's not really trackable in the system. And if you've already had the invoice paid, you have now reduced the amount of the invoice due and you have an overpayment on it, right? So the cleanest way to do this is to create an invoice. Okay, you have the option of hit add credit and give the customer credit only. And if you give them credit only, that just means that you can do credit without an invoice or you can credit to an invoice. So if I came in and created a credit here, it's going to make me choose a line item and how much. And then if you add tax, if you have tax turned on, it's going to figure the tax. So if you're figuring to give them $50 off, you may have to back figure the tax if you're trying to get to just $50. But on here, if you apply the credit, this reduces the amount of the invoice. Okay. Once you hit apply credit, this invoice is only going to have a balance of $25 less. Okay. So you just gave them a credit. It's an unpaid invoice. Let's say the invoice is already paid. You want to give them a credit and a refund. And this is the way accounting works. You need to be able to track this because if you just give them go in and change the amount of the invoice, there's nothing to show that you actually gave them a credit. Okay. So if you're going to do a credit and a refund, or possibly if it's an overpayment, you'll just want to do a refund only. If you do a refund only, if it is a recorded payment, you have to take care of that refund in QuickBooks. If it's a process payment, it will work its way back through that process. And on your activity screen, you're going to see a refund there. And it's going to work its way back to the customer through the system. A credit and a refund means I'm coming into this customer, I'm giving them $25 off of this invoice, and then I sort of like lost, let's say broke something. We're giving them because we broke something. And then you would come in and you say, there's my credit, okay, and select a method to refund. Since this isn't paid, that's why there's nothing showing here in our system because nothing was paid on here. But you can come in here, it will show the date, the payment method, and then you'll hit refund, and then that will either process or you're going to have to give that through QuickBooks. So that is the correct way to do a credit and refund in our system. Okay, we have a lot of people that the system will not allow you to overpay an invoice. You can pay, click the box on the invoice. It should default to the full amount due, and then anything left over is an overpayment. But it confuses the heck out of the system when you pay an invoice and then go give a credit, which makes it lock up because there's now an overpayment on it. It just doesn't get it that it is just it almost like it makes it lock up because it's you shouldn't be able to do that. And since we don't allow you to do an overpayment, when you go to edit it, sometimes it won't let you edit it, and you have to do a support request to get that fixed for you. So try not to reduce the amount of the invoice on a paid invoice. If you have to, unassign the payment and you want to do it that way, but the correct way to do is to give it a credit and then a refund off that, or just a credit. If it's not paid, just a credit, but if it is paid, a credit and a refund. Let's see, we've got
I
that.
guess I
Mhm,
guess in that sense, I'm sorry.
mhm.
In that sense, earlier you were showing that you could take a payment towards an invoice, and then there's that option of taking a payment without an invoice.
Yes. So if
So
you hit,
when you take a payment without an invoice,
mhm,
let's say they're giving you an extra $200 or yeah, $50.
mhm.
Where does that payment go to, or what does it do?
So what it does is it just hangs out here on this gold bar. Okay, so there's that payment that they gave you. So this is, are you saying that they would have given you like the full amount for the invoice and an additional $50, or this is just an unassigned payment?
Well, that's kind of I'm trying to figure out how that would go. I mean, let's say for this example, the statement was for $550. They
Mm-hmm.
didn't have $50 in cash. They're paying me with cash.
Mm-hmm.
But instead they had $100 bill. So they had six $100 bills. They didn't have the 550, and I didn't have change to give them back.
Okay. So you could come in and hit record payment. And let's see, we're going
Oh,
to
look,
make,
there's a $550 one.
oh, there we go. 550. Okay, so 550, and then you would put payment without an invoice is $50. And so that makes your payment what they gave you, your six $100 bills. It's cash. You received it today. You can record payment. Okay. So now you have this leftover 50 here. Okay. So you can hit refund and you can go in and find where is it? 550, 550, 600 cash entered $600. Payment without an invoice. So you would refund this $50 to them. Okay. And since it's not on an invoice, there'll be nothing here. Refund method would be, you said you don't have cash. You could use check and then cut them a check from QuickBooks.
Okay.
Because since this was recorded and it was cash, it doesn't have a way to process its way through a credit card or a check processor. It was taken to the bank, so you would have to give them a check refund out of QuickBooks for $50. So when this refund syncs to QuickBooks, you go up into your refunds and you would cut a check for them for $50.
Okay. It isn't, and then I guess in that sense, there's no way to just have it sit in there as a credit.
Yeah, it is. It's sitting there as an unapplied amount right now. So if they want to leave that there till the next time that they have service, and then you just assign it to the next invoice.
Oh,
Reassign
okay.
payment. And if I want to put it against this one, I would come up, see how it defaults to that. I only want to make it 50. And then I take my 50 out of here and make that 0. So now it's still the original $600 payment. The 550 is paid off, and you put that extra $50 against their next invoice.
Okay.
It's when you forget to take it off of here that it causes a problem.
Got it.
Okay.
Okay. So it can't sit in there and
Mhm.
it is there an easy way to check to see if they have any credit that's just sitting there?
Sure. So if you go to the payment list, as globally, you can go through and say, if I go to the payment list, I want to see everybody who has a payment, and you can go back as far in date and time as you want, that's not applied to an invoice. And you click on invoice and toggle it up and down, and you would go check these to see if it's actually a credit on the customer or if for some reason it just didn't get applied.
Oh, okay. So that tells me there's money sitting there that hasn't been applied to anything.
There's my $50. And if you use the triangle, it's going to show you where's the 550? There's 600. Did I do one for 600 today? I did. Let me go into amount. There, there's the $600 one. Okay. It has a check mark because it is applied to one, but when you click on this, you'll see that only 550 was applied to the invoice.
Okay. How
So
do
this
I, well,
will tell you anything that if it's applied to the invoice and if it's pointed towards a maintenance plan.
okay. Well, that tells me that there's that it applied to a $550, but how do I find that extra $50?
You're not gonna, since it all is applied to one, it's not going to have a second one that there's an overage. You would have to go to, let's go to this and go to accounts receivable aging. And let's see if it pops up since it was on there today. Let's go down to Dawson, 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 B, B, B. Get down to the D's. Holy moly, somebody's been in there testing. Callaway. I should be close. Dawson. There we go. 5350. Did it not update yet? There's my $500 payment. Where is the other one? It was under Jack Dawson, wasn't it? There's my 550. It should have a credit here. Should have one in the current. It may not because it was just today. Oh, there we go. 1 to 30 days, 50.
Oh, okay.
There we go. So you'd see it on here. Goodness, there's a lot of auto invoices in here.
Okay. I guess I'd have to play with that
Mm-hmm.
for finding like if there's a $50 or some kind of credit sitting in there that I
Mm-hmm.
can apply to another.
Yeah. But
Okay.
usually when you go into the customer, you're going to see it there on the payments tab anyway. So if I just go to Dawson, when you're on the phone with them, the other thing is, I think, let me go back over here and make sure that I'm being correct. If I came in here and go to find Dawson, let's see if it shows up on here under balance. No, it does not show the credit. It just shows the invoices. And because it has so much outstanding, it just shows up as a balance. It doesn't show the credit there. I was hoping it did, but it didn't. Okay. Any other questions you can think of?
No, not at the moment. It gives me something to play with
Yes.
and kind of
There's a
look
lot with
around
this one.
in.
It,
Yeah, yeah,
there's a lot with this one. It's not like review request was like 12 minutes done. No, this one is a longer one.
yeah. And actually, I just did exactly what you did.
Hmm.
And I asked that question because there was a situation where the guy owed a $495 bill, but he didn't have he only had $500 cash.
Hmm.
So he overpaid $5, and now I just looked up his account, and there is a negative $5 credit on his account, which I
Yay.
can apply to another job.
Yep. There you go.
Awesome. That oh, that was killing me for a little bit because I'm like, where is
Yes.
that money? And now I know how to find it.
$5. There's $5, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And you know
But
what?
those,
If it was 150, you'd be like, okay, yeah, there's 150, but it's like that $5 or a
yeah.
dollar, right?
I mean, I'm sure at the end of the year, our accountant is going to be you're over $5. Like,
Yes.
what's going on? And we can explain it.
Yes. There's a used to be when I used to work for the city, there was a thing called errors and omissions, right? And they had an account, right? It was errors and anything came and went out of that account that they couldn't find it went to anything else, right? And so it was errors and omissions, and then it would disappear for the next year. But it was hysterical. It was like errors and omission, here we go. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. When I was taking my accounting classes for my business management um, degree, I was just like, I understood a lot more of what my accountant was looking at,
Hmm.
where I was just like, no wonder you're very picky about receipts and making sure that everything balances out
Yes.
because
That's why
you
they
have
call
to
them bean
explain all that.
counters. That's why they call
Y-
them bean counters
Yes,
because they have to make the beans match, right?
exactly. You can't be in the red. You can't be, well, you love the black, but
Yes.
yeah, red is no good.
Yes. Yes. And when things start showing up in duplicates, it's like you want to watch somebody go crazy, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. Well, if you don't have any more questions for me today, I'm going to let you get back to work and you can go in and start playing with those and see how you like it.
exactly. Thank you so much, as always. You've been
You're
great.
welcome. Have a great rest of your day.
You too. Bye.
Bye bye.